Hello, everyone. My name is Manish Srinivasan, and this short video recording is to take you through my upcoming AMC10 training course. So some of you might already know me, but let me just do a quick intro. Let me just share screen here. Okay, so my name is Manish Srinivasan. Like I said, I've been teaching for about 20 plus years. I finished my BTech from IIT Madras back in the late 90s, and then went to the US for doing my master's. I did my first master's in Texas, Austin. And then after joining workforce, sometime like midway through my career, I did another master's in computational finance in Carnegie Mellon. I've been teaching for a good 20 plus years. Like I said, the first half of it was in New Jersey, New York area. I initially started off with Kaplan and Princeton Review. And then in 2010, I moved to Mumbai, and I've been teaching since. Pre-COVID, it was in different locations, Parel, Powai, Juhu, Santa Cruz. And then blessing in disguise after COVID was everything came on Zoom, and the reach was much better. The commute time went to zero for everyone, and location agnostic, essentially. So all my classes for the last 3+ years have been on Zoom. Okay, so I focus on a variety of first of all, I teach all my classes only on weekends. So in the limited time I have on Saturdays and Sundays, I try to see whatever batches I can form. So it keeps changing, right? Each season, depending on what the demand is, I teach a variety of programs. So this is a collection of programs I teach. It's not that at any given time I'm teaching all of it. For like 11th and 12th, I focus on the IBHL curriculum. Earlier, there used to be further math. I used to be teaching that as well. For 9th and 10th, the AD Math is the more popular one, AD Math and International Math. I used to teach for ACTs and subject SATs and GMAT and GRE, a few and far between, not many for GMAT and GRE. Of late, not much focus on the SATs and ACTs. I also teach for AP Calculus and AP Stats. So this is one set. In terms of competitive math and Olympiads, that's where most of my focus for the last few years have been. The popular ones being the American math competitions, the AMCs, AMC8, AMC10, AMC12. And this particular recording I'm doing is to cover an introduction to AMC10. And then the Canadian Olympiads, also known as the Waterloo Olympiads or the CEMC exams, all of these terms are synonymous. So they have different names, right? So unlike AMC, where it's very clear from the name, it's 8th, 10th, or 12th, they have different names based on mathematicians like Gauss, Pascal, Fryer, and all that. So it ranges from as early as 7th grade to as high as 12th grade. So they have a variety of these exams, some subjective, some objective. Unlike AMC, which is all objective. And there's also a bunch of Asian Olympiads, which are gaining popularity by the year. The main ones are the AIMO, stands for Asian Math Olympiad, then HKIMO for Hong Kong. CMO is missing in this list, Southeast Asia, SASMO for Singapore, PIMSO from Philippines. So these are the popular ones. I also teach for pre-RMO and RMO. Right now, both of them have been clubbed together. And I teach for JE mains, JE mains and JE math, of course, but for mains and advanced, but just like very few sessions. I'm more like substitute teacher. I partner with a firm in Chennai, which is actively teaching for JE, and occasionally they call me for some filler classes. So not on an extended basis, but as and when there are gaps, they call me in to teach for JE. I also have like a few partners with whom I work with, like AHA Guru, like I said, Open Canvas, Change Matrix, EduDefine. So these are people who focus on training and college counseling and such. I also do workshops and guest lectures on a few math topics, probability, statistics mainly, not much on calculus and linear algebra, but I have done some in the past. Essentially, whatever is computer science or math centric. My batch sizes have varied over time. Initially, there used to be like 5-6 students, but now over time, it's more like around 8 to 10 is my typical batch size. The popular schools in Mumbai, Aditya Birla, Dhirubhai, Jamnabai, Oberoi, Podar, HFS, BD Somani. And then these were like pre-COVID when my access was just in Mumbai. And of course, post-COVID, there have been students from outside as well, like Pune, Bangalore, and a few occasionally from Germany and the US as well. Indian students, but based in Germany and other places. I'm proud to say a lot of good admissions for the hardworking students I've had. MIT, Stanford, Caltech. I have examples for each of these names, USCLA, and a few others, right? Carnegie Mellon, Harvard. And a lot of good achievements in the mathematical competitions, the Olympiads as well. Okay, so that's a brief about myself. Now, this particular session is on AMC10. So let me just share screen on the AMC10 itself. Okay, so AMC10, typically it's offered in November. So this is me, instructor, the audience, 9th and 10th graders who are strong at math. 10th graders obviously have an advantage of an extra year of maturity, but 9th graders, the way I view is they get a second chance. They write it once now, and that preparation will really help them like do even better next year. Actually, even this year, they're not at a big disadvantage. If you see topic wise for AMCs, they are basic topics, but the questions are fairly deep. So it's not like there are some topics that you've never been taught at all. For example, trigonometry is not even there, right? Let alone calculus, that's even later, right? So, but basic stuff that 6th, 7th, 8th grader would do, but deep problems. Not all of them. The first few questions are fairly easy, as some of you might already know. Of the 25 questions, the first few questions are like fairly easy till around 10 or so, and then gradually it starts to build up. In fact, progressively from 1 to 10, it builds up. And then roughly you can say from 10 to 15 or 16 is medium category, 16 to 20 is like hard, beyond 20 is really hard, right? That's the range of questions that we have. Now, for like I said, this is offered in November. There are 2 dates. One is called 10A and one is called 10B. You can register for either of them or both of them. You can give, some people like to give both. It's not like one has an advantage over the other. So you can take either one of them if the date is more convenient to you. The course duration for this one, I'll be conducting classes on Saturdays from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. So we have roughly around, let's say mid-July is when we start. So August, September, October, November, we have about 4 months of preparation roughly. All classes will be on Zoom, and I'll be recording every single class, and the link will be shared after class. So almost on any given day, someone or the other is going to have a health issue. Someone is going to be traveling. They'll have some conflict with other classes and such. So I rarely get 100% attendance on any given day. So yeah, but people have this opportunity to just catch up from the video recording that I sent out. And even if you attend the class, if something is not clear, you have the opportunity of going through it again and then making sure that's clarified for you. And in fact, I would urge, even if you understood everything clearly, do watch the recording one more time, maybe at 1.5x speed or 2x speed. It's always a second pass will always reiterate things for you better. So it always helps. Classes are all on Zoom. Like I said, the meeting ID and the password is here. I'll be conducting a demo class next week on June 25th at this time, which is, note that this time is different from the regular class time. The class times are 6 p.m. to 7:30 on Saturdays. It's a one-off demo class. The expectations, the class will be at a brisk pace because I'm expecting like students who are fairly strong at math to be registering for this. But don't sit back on your math capabilities. You need to put a lot of hard work. I expect at least 2 hours of time during the week to work on your homework, go through what was covered, and then like watch the recording. Like I said, all of it collectively, if you give 2 hours sincerely every week in a disciplined fashion, then I think we should be good. Batch size, like I said, it's about 8 to 10 students. The fees I've structured for this one is about 32,000 and payable by mid-July, a week before class, and multiple options of paying the fees. This is where I stay, Goregaon East, this is where I work, Goregaon West. I have given the map links to those if people want to send through cash, and then there's NEFT and GPay options as well. Now, coming back to the exam itself, the reference material, Art of Problem Solving website has a lot of material All the past papers are free. Nothing needs to be purchased. There's enough free resources online these days. Unlike during the days when we were growing up, this was definitely a challenge. But for you guys, there's ample excess information. In fact, I would say, okay, so don't need to buy anything. If at all you choose to buy something, the art of problem solving books, both of them, the part 1 and part 2, are pretty good. You can invest and keep a copy at home. The structure, people ask, like, how do I teach and all that? I don't have a major structure as such, but roughly for the first few sessions, I'll be covering the basics and all the topics that are expected in the exam. And then next, in a topical order, we'll go, like, let's say probability and permutation combination, I will do that 1 or 2 weeks. Then we'll move on to geometry, and then algebra, number theory, all that. So on a topical order, we'll do practice questions. And then in the final stretch, about like 4 to 6 weeks, I didn't plan exactly, but roughly around 4 to 6 weeks, the last 4 to 6, we'll do full length papers so that you get a miscellaneous coverage. And also we can get a sense for time. So the 25 questions in the exam, in fact, I should put that information here. Let me do that. It's 75 minutes for the 25 questions. Okay, video intro to the program. So that the one recording that I'm doing right now, I'll be putting a link to that video here and then send across this PDF for those who didn't watch this. They can watch it later. The topics, like I said, right, are basic, like 8th grade level topics: algebra, basic arithmetic, of course, counting. By counting, I mean permutations and combinations, basic geometry, all these triangles, quadrilaterals, circles, all the different properties. Number theory, as in number theory, the word sounds fancy, but realistically, the problems for AMC10 will be modulo arithmetic, like what is the remainder when you divide such and such a number by something, right? And the numbers are big, so you need to know a few basic ways of solving them. And then like some basic secondary school math topics. And like I said, you don't need trigonometry, much less calculus. So you don't need those. But that said, if you do know trigonometry and if you can solve a problem using trigonometry, like go ahead, right? There's no one is going to penalize you for it. But it's not required, is what I mean. So there is negative marking in AMC 10, but it's hidden. Hidden as in it's not very obvious. For a correct question, you get 6 marks. If you don't answer it at all, you get 1.5 marks. And if you answer it incorrectly, you get 0 marks. So what I would like to think of it as like a normalized version. If you look at normalized version, if I scale down everything by a factor of, first of all, I want to do a shifting by 1.5. Shifting by 1.5 takes you to 4.5, 0, and minus 1.5. So the ratio becomes 3:0:-1. I'm sorry. So 3:0:-1 is the effective ratio if you divide by 1.5 after that, right? So there is negative marking, strong negative marking, I would say, right? So don't randomly guess. But that said, if you're able to zone down your choices to just 2, then definitely go for it. And we'll obviously touch on this, right? How to eliminate obvious wrong choices cleverly by doing some dimensional consistency, some like sanity checks, symmetry, all of these. Like we'll learn some of these tricks in class. So definitely if you're able to narrow it down to 2 choices, go for it. Go for the final guess. The milestones in the exam, the top 1%. So the max score is 150 points. So 25 questions, you answer them all right. 25 into 6 is 150. To be in the top 1%, depending on how hard the paper is, or how easy it is, relatively speaking, it varies around 115 is the top 1%. You get a distinguished honor roll. Some of these names have changed over the years. Over the last 2-3 years, they've made some changes. I'm talking about the latest. The top 5% get something called a distinction. And the typical score for this is around 100, you can say, right? Plus minus a few points. And then to qualify for AIME, which is the next level, the next exam that you'll write, you need to be in the top 6 to 8%. Again, the cutoffs have changed over time. Earlier, it used to be top 5% for AMC 10 candidates. Now they've extended they've made it more liberal. They are allowing up to 6 to 8%. Again, this number varies from year to year. I don't know how they do it, but roughly 6 to 8% has been the trend. Score for this around 93 plus minus a few points. Okay, so very doable, very much doable if you put in this hard work, like I said before. Okay, so that's that. And obviously reach out to me offline for any further questions. Okay, hope this was useful. I'll hopefully have a sizable batch to kickstart something soon. Thank you. Bye.